College soccer here on the ACC Network Extra. Hello everyone, we welcome you to an overcast and rainy Raleigh, North Carolina. We are on the campus of NC State University at the Dail Soccer Stadium. This is the 3 versus 6 matchup in the ACC Championship quarterfinals. Alongside Dina Floyd, my name is Andrew Sanders. So glad to have you on board for today's broadcast. An exciting match to be sure, as you see NC State and Notre Dame squaring off at the bottom of the bracket. Dina, as we look at this bracket, so many high-caliber teams in the ACC. And I know what Duke was dominant this season, but I get the sense anyone in this field of 8 could win it.
Yes, that's the beauty of playing in the ACC. The competition is so high, and yes, at any point in time, anyone could win these matchups.
The first round, the quarterfinals, are hosted at campus sites. It win and advance to Charleston, South Carolina for the semifinals, and then the final on November 5th. Well, Dina, these two teams are certainly no strangers. They've already met once this season. It was just about a month ago in South Bend. As you see, September 24th, a big win for Notre Dame. They were dominant in that performance. How much confidence does that give them going into this match?
I think it gives them confidence, but at the same time, they're not going to take this match for granted. And then on the NC State side, they're definitely looking for redemption in this matchup.
No doubt about that. Notre Dame has actually won the last 5 matches between the Irish and NC State. So they have been the Wolfpack's nemesis, and now they meet in the quarterfinals of the ACC Championship. It's actually a rematch of last season. Again, these two teams are very familiar with one another. Notre Dame was the regular season ACC champion last year as the 1 seed. They hosted 8-seeded NC State. They got a 1-0 victory there. So for NC State, what do they have to do to be successful today and finally get over the hump over a very talented Notre Dame team?
The good thing for NC State is they're coming off 5 wins, and they're playing really well at this point. So they have confidence going in this game, and they have to stay with that.
Yeah, both of these teams coming in on a win streak, or an unbeaten streak, I should say, as Notre Dame got a good result in Chapel Hill on Thursday, the final match of the regular season. It was a 1-1 draw. Before that, they beat Florida State. They beat Miami. So Notre Dame unbeaten in their last 3. NC State has won 5 straight. All of those, by the way, in the ACC. No non-conference matches in there. So both of them feeling good. For Notre Dame, though, I want to highlight that Carolina match for a second. They were just 16 seconds away from winning that match, and it would have drastically changed where they would be today.
Yes, definitely. They gave up a goal in the last 16 seconds, and I know they were pretty upset about that. And, yes, if they would have won that game, they probably would have been playing home. But at the same time, you can't look back, and they're probably looking just to get a really good result in this game and move forward in the tournament.
It's awfully tough for the Irish to know when you crunch the numbers, they would have finished as the 3rd seed, which NC State is. So you're right. They would have been at home. But the good news for them, they've been a very strong road team this season.
Right. They've done really well on the road. They had a really good win against a ranked FSU team in overtime. So again, they have confidence coming in this match just like NC State does. So this is going to be a great matchup today.
The 5 road wins for Notre Dame, the most for them since 2014. As you can see, gray skies here in Raleigh. Got a lot of precipitation last night. It poured in the capital city of North Carolina. Much lighter stuff is scheduled for today, according to the meteorologist. How will the weather affect today's match?
I think most players at this point, if they're playing Division I college soccer, they're used to this atmosphere at some point. So it shouldn't affect them too much, and they have a good pitch to play on. If anything, it's going to affect the goalies and the unpredictable skipping of the ball or how the ball comes in once the shot is taken. So, but at the most point, or at this point, I think the players should be used to this.
As you get a look at the Notre Dame starting lineup, it's a Notre Dame team that has been very good this season. 9-5-4, 5 wins in the ACC. And 2 draws to go along with that. I think because of the conditions a little bit, the crowd is less than what it would have been. And so Notre Dame, who have been road warriors, don't have to deal with as tough of an atmosphere, perhaps. This will be an NC State throw-in, taken by the left back, Hannah Keogh. This pass will go all the way back to the Irish goalkeeper, Lexi Nicholas. She will be tested today, no doubt. NC State, one of the best offensive teams in the ACC, and they are led by one of the best, not even just forwards, but players in the conference in Sierra King. She's coming off of a couple of goals against Louisville in the regular season finale. But it's not just Sierra King, right? This team in general, they have a lot of scoring options.
Yeah, they've definitely got scoring options and talent across the board this year. But in Notre Dame coming in, they're definitely keeping their eye on King. She is an amazing player. She does well in terms of scoring goals and assisting.
You were a defensive player at the D1 level. How do you deal with a player that is so good with the ball at her feet and has elite athleticism with the speed and the quickness and the dribbling skills? Is it just double team? How do you try and contain a player like that?
I just think it depends on the player. I think with King, it's difficult because if you stop her shot, she's able to move off the ball and maybe give a good pass and assist a play. So you have to be aware of them. You have to play to their strengths. And you definitely have to get help. Whoever's playing or matching up against her has to have help on the backside.
Sierra King with 11 goals. She leads the team with 6 assists and has 28 points. That's the second most goals and points in the ACC. The Irish with a bit of open space here. 4 shirts in the box. Sent towards the near post. And cleared away. That one was headed for Jennifer Westendorf. And she is a player to watch for Notre Dame.
She is. She's a sophomore. She had a great year last year. Made all ACC freshman team and second team all ACC. And she's had an even better year this year in terms of goals and points. So definitely need to watch out for her as well.
Now Westendorf is 5th in the conference in goals scored. She has scored 9 and leads the Irish with 7 assists. So quite a playmaker. Blackwood trying to spin and get a turn. Collision. No whistle. Blackwood's pass intercepted by Jenny McGowan. Good pass in. Chance for the Irish. And that was blocked up by Chrissy Schuster. Mentioned Schuster. Here's a look at the starting 11 for the Wolfpack. As we mentioned, Sierra King, they'll move her around a little bit, but playing in the midfield, mostly on the left side. Rankin and Blackwood are also dangerous scoring threats for the Wolfpack. But this is a team that's been good defensively, too. Sydney Wooten in goal. They've had 8 shutouts this season, so they're not just an offensive powerhouse. They can play some D.
Right. They've just been consistent all around the board this year, scoring and defensively.
Oh, a header inside the 6, and it goes high. That header taken by Taylor Clavunder, senior midfielder from California. Notre Dame pressing forward, and that whistles just over the crossbar. But, you know, Notre Dame, no surprise, they seem very comfortable on the road and didn't waste any time kind of getting their feet under them.
Right, and their last matchups have been against really good teams, UNC, FSU, so they're prepared for this match against NC State.
Notre Dame outscoring opponents 36-20 on the season. They've gotten off to a good start here. They've been even better this year. They've been a strong second-half team. This is onside, and a chance is off the side netting. It'll be a corner
kick. Great ball
kick
by Westerndorf to split the back line.
Natalie Jacobs got in behind the back four for NC State. It's Jacobs who is the leading scorer. Tied third in the ACC, 10 goals on the year, and she was this close to having her 11th. Just a little deflection helped that go past the near post. And NC State will just give it the boot down the field. So look at the Notre Dame head coach in her 4th year, Teresa Romanolo. Great head coach for Notre Dame. Has been to the NCAA tournament all 3 seasons so far, and they will make it 4 straight this year. In fact, the Irish have an incredible streak going. They've made the NCAA tournament in 24 straight seasons. That's the second longest active streak in women's college soccer every year from 1993 to the present. You know, we've talked about before, Dina, how important consistency is just within a team, within an individual season. But when you can have that kind of consistency over 24 years, what does that say about your program?
I mean, when younger kids are looking at, hey, where do I want to go and play? So they're along that list. You got the UNCs, you have, you know, the Notre Dames, the Stanfords. Those are the programs that have been consistent since the beginning of time.
Maxine Blackwood feeds a pass into Sierra King. Still moving with it. Notre Dame scrambling defensively, pressured really for the first time today. And Blackwood just tried to feed it to, well, an empty space. It'll go out. But the first real threat shown from the Wolfpack.
And once again, that comes from King. She just does magic on the ball. So Notre Dame, even though they've had the majority of possession of the game, they have to be aware of King.
The freshman Lulu Gutenberger, the center back, will look for the long ball here, going to the right back, Schuster. And eventually broken up nicely by Monica Flores. Well, perhaps that scoring chance for King, although she wasn't able to muster a shot out of it, that wasn't blocked, but perhaps that will give them some confidence moving forward. It had been mostly Notre Dame in the first 10 minutes or so, doing the majority of the attacking. And they're applying pressure here. They'll get it at midfield. Westendorf marked by Keogh. Crossed in low and easily defended. King doesn't have the numbers. Gives it up to Paige Griffiths. NC State working it around. Multiple Notre Dame
Great
defenders.
ball.
Here's a ball into Rankin and a save made by Lexi Nicholas.
Great
up
ball.
to the task. NC State didn't have the numbers there, but they were able to connect pass after pass and get a shot on goal.
Again, this is what we're talking about. King didn't necessarily shoot, but she assisted that pass to Rankin. Rankin, unfortunately, she had a good opportunity, but the goalie came out.
NC State corner taken by Keogh. It drops down near King, and this will be out for a second corner kick. Are set pieces any more important when the weather conditions aren't optimal?
Definitely, yeah. Set pieces are important in general in stoppage of play, but even more important, you can dip that ball in, and it might be difficult for the keeper to get a handle on it.
The outswinging corner towards the back post. Headed away from danger. I believe it was Clavunder who got a forehead to it. NC State able to keep up some sustained pressure after the Rankin chance, a couple of corners. And now they'll have a throw-in deep in the Irish half. Blackwood does manage to keep it in. And it leads to a turnover. Right back the other way. Notre Dame trying to operate in tight spaces was Sammy Fisher. And now they'll look to move their forces forward. Here at the Dail Soccer Stadium, the 3-seed NC State against the 6-seed Notre Dame Fighting Irish in this ACC Championship quarterfinal match. Alongside Dina Floyd, I'm Andrew Sanders. Just gone over 15 minutes played in this first half. Dina, what are your impressions so far?
I think the game started with Notre Dame having the run and play, but NC State's been able to come back and have a couple opportunities and good chances. So overall, I think the matchup is going to be great for the game if both teams continue to play like this. We'll just have to see how it ends up.
Yeah, I know getting ready for this one, both you and I were really excited.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun match. So far, we've seen some good competition, and it's only going to get better as the match goes along and these two teams get settled in. Sandra Yu will drop it back. Sandra Yu's having a great season. A graduate student, a veteran player.
Right.
Her previous career high of points for a season was just 8 points, and she has seen an emergence this year, 19 points. What a transformation for her.
Yeah, she's definitely peaking towards the end of her career, but at the same time, at the very beginning, she had some pretty catastrophic injuries in terms of an ACL, and then her sophomore year, she was injured as well. So she's seasoned. She's been able to be around the game, but not necessarily play it. So it's kind of nice to see her be able to score some goals and assist and lead the team in those categories.
No doubt. So tough to come back from injuries. As we see for the first time, Tim Santoro, the head coach of NC State, and his team with a breakout season last year. And now they're working on what will probably end up as the best season in school history for the Wolfpack. They have tied the school record for most wins, 13 wins on the year. Best season ever. I know they made a college cup, but best season ever in terms of number of wins. 13 wins already, 6 of them in the ACC, both of those tying school records, the most since 1995.
Yes, he's definitely showing that he has made an impact on the program as a coach in his 5th year, and even topping what he did last year. So it's great to see for the Pack and NC State when you're talking about just overall program and getting past that hump.
You know, as I mentioned at the top of the show, NC State had never hosted an ACC championship match here at home because they missed the tournament for a number of years. So, obviously, just to be in the top 8 is so difficult. All of these teams, all from Duke down to Boston College, all of them are tough teams. And for NC State to finish 3rd in the conference, and the even better news for this Wolfpack program is they're still very young. The nucleus of this team, sophomores and juniors.
Right, and you can tell that it's just a different mindset now that these players they won last year, and now it's just not, we've gotten here, we're just excited to be here. It's like, okay, we want to actually win. We want to actually go further than we did last year. We want to win a championship. You can just tell by their demeanor from watching them play this year that they're pretty hungry as a group.
And even dealing with some key injuries to attacking players, NC State has still managed to find plenty of goals. Again, one of the best offensive teams in the ACC. And so the future is bright for the Wolfpack for this season and moving forward. And really an opportunity, a big opportunity for them to not only make the semifinals if they were to win today, but also, again, to beat a team they haven't been able to beat the last 5 times out. And Notre Dame is one of those marquee programs in women's soccer. It means a little extra to beat a team like Notre Dame, doesn't it?
Right, it does. It definitely does. They beat a team, UNC, last year, so I think it would be along the same realms if they beat Notre Dame today.
I would think that perhaps that's one of the reasons why Notre Dame is so good on the road. They're used to getting everyone's best shot. They're used to having the target on their back. And so for them, home, away, neutral, it doesn't really matter.
Right?
They know they're going to get your best shot. They're just going to go out and play Irish soccer.
Right, yep. I agree.
Long ball knocked forward.
Good play by the keeper. Keep possession.
Coming out really being a field player there. Out of the box.
But not just kicking it out.
Yeah.
Keeping that ball.
Lexi Nicholas, the senior goalkeeper from Pleasanton, California, has split time with Brooke Littman this year. Nicholas making her 9th start. Has 2 shutouts to her name, has only allowed 10 goals with the help, of course. And I know I have to credit this if I'm working with you, Dina. Of course, the back 4 helps that. Just a little bit.
just a tiny little bit.
But no, Nicholas has filled in very nicely for Notre Dame. She'll take this kick from almost the corner. The Irish record when Nicholas is in goal, 4-2-2 on the season. Kaylin Bach wins the header for NC State and then gets it back. Again, I spoke of this team being young, but Bach, one of the seniors and a senior leader along the back line for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, she's definitely been strong in the back.
Well, Taylor Porter almost got into trouble right there as Sandra Yu was bearing down, but she was able to spin away from danger. How about this all the way across the field? Able to connect the pass. So far, you think NC State has handled Notre Dame's pressure pretty well?
Yeah, I think overall NC State has had decent, Notre Dame has had good opportunities, but NC State has definitely been there, ready to defend.
Had to do quite a bit of defending in the first 10 minutes. Right now the shot count, 5 shots for Notre Dame, just 1 for the Wolfpack. I know Notre Dame did have a header that wasn't on target. It was probably a decent opportunity, but Kia Rankin's chance kind of stands out as the best chance through the first 20-odd minutes.
Correct. Natalie Jacobs had a good shot off to you from Westendorf's pass.
You can see Notre Dame pushing up more and more. NC State has to go back to Wooten. Monica Flores coming up to keep possession for the Irish. In the attacking third, Fisher puts on the brakes, gets it to Clavunder. King will look to switch sides. Good pass to Schuster, and the Wolfpack are off and running. Westendorf gets it to you, and now the race is on. Zira King is going to get there first. Kate O'Connor has it go out off an NC State player. Maxine Blackwood has impressed me so far in this match with her ability to hold play up.
Yeah, she's able to just contain and keep the ball and kind of be a role player in that mode and not lose possession.
A good step in from you, and was just that close to being wide open in front of goal. Again, Notre Dame comes in today by seed. You would say technically they're the underdog, but they were 16 seconds away from being the 3 seed themselves. Not much to separate these two teams at all, as we've got a foul here, and immediately our
yellow, maybe.
Head official comes in. So it looks like a yellow card will be shown to Sandra.
Definitely a dangerous play. She probably didn't intentionally do it, but dangerous when you slide in like that and clip someone.
Yeah, initially I saw him kind of make the signal, hey, no more, and I thought you might not see a card.
Right.
And then the clock was stopped. So you is on a yellow card now. It's just something to keep in mind as this match rolls along. Schuster's header will trickle just out of play, and that whistle will bring substitutions for both teams. Heading off for Notre Dame is Kate O'Connor, and checking in is Sabrina Flores. NC State making 2 changes. Paige Griffiths and Kia Rankin out. Rachel Cox and Frances Henshaw are in. Jacobs giving pursuit of Gutenberger. She finds a safety valve in Wooten. Flores' first touch gives it away. Taylor Porter with an awkward challenge is going to lead to a Notre Dame free kick. It's a pretty good spot to take it.
So with these conditions, you might see the ball skip a little bit. Keeper has to be aware.
Left-footed service to a good spot, headed initially by NC State's Kalen Bach. And a long shot will not test Sydney Wooten in the end. And we'll have another substitution here for NC State. Tim Santoro takes out Ella Bonner, or puts in Ella Bonner, takes out Maxine Blackwood. Wednesday, November 1st, 7 o'clock, the ACC Championship on the men's side begins, and NC State also hosting on the men's side as the Wolfpack will host the Hokies of Virginia Tech. You can watch that on your Watch ESPN app. Both championships on the men and the women's side. We're so spoiled being able to cover ACC soccer. As Bonner gets into this match, tries to pick out a pass. Now, the field might be playing a little slower today, right? But that'll still roll out for a goal kick.
Right.
So far, just about 30 minutes in, what do you see both of these teams trying to do tactically?
I think both teams at this point are trying to play their style of play, and they're both doing a pretty good job. We've had a couple opportunities, but I think there's been a lot of play throughout the midfield. So again, we're going to have to see how it plays out the rest of this half and the second half.
Frances Hinshaw, fresh legs into the match. She's got some speed. Flores trying to track her down on the giveaway. So is the midfield, I know the midfield is kind of the key in every match. Do you think that's the key here?
Yeah, I think it's the key, but it's just been the run of play so far. Both teams are playing pretty possession style, so it's not too direct. They're not constantly going to their forwards and just, pumping the ball down the forwards' throats or the defenders' throats of the opposite team. So there's been a lot of possession throughout the midfield. So we haven't had a ton of just direct balls and forwards just being able to have several opportunities.
Again, we're spoiled to be able to cover ACC soccer. One of those reasons is Bonner finds some space for Cox here, and Nicholas, now she stumbles. Cox will slide it across. It's King over the crossbar. Oh, a golden opportunity for NC State.
That was a great ball. Great ball in. The goalie couldn't decide if she was going to go out and get the ball, so she stayed in the back of the net, and Cox had a great cross in, and King had a great opportunity on net, and actually you usually see her put that in the back, but that was a good opportunity for them.
Well, Tim Santoro just made a few substitutions. How did that pan out right there? Ella Bonner over to Rachel Cox, both of them newly in the match. Both of them, as you say, perfect balls. That's one where King, she should hit the target from there.
Right. Like I said, she usually putting that in the back of the net, and unfortunately, she didn't there, but it was a good build-up to that point. So Cox was able to come in with fresh legs and make that opportunity happen.
As King's shot was not deflected. We're speaking of the conditions, and you said the goalkeepers might have the toughest time with that. On that play, we saw Cox, when she came in, Nicholas, she started to come out, and then she put on the brakes, and when she did, she stumbled. She was kind of lost in no man's land there, in part because of the field conditions.
Yeah, I think in part because of field conditions, and she just didn't decide, all right, I'm going to come out. She waited too late, so at that time she had to stay in goal.
And I say the field conditions. This is known as one of the best surfaces in the ACC. They do an excellent job here with the field. And so considering the amount of rain that we've gotten here in Raleigh over the last 24 hours, the field's in good condition.
Right.
but still, when
in
you
comparison
get a few
to what
inches,
it usually is, right?
Yeah, when you get a few inches, you can see usually this pitch is immaculate. and you can see where the ground has gotten chewed up because it's soggy out there today. Oh, just a poor giveaway by Bach, the senior defender. Can Notre Dame make something of it? Well, Zierra King with a strong tackle. And that ball did roll out. Notre Dame has been dominant against NC State. A 4-0 win on September 24th. They've won the last 5 matchups in this series. NC State has been dominant at home this year. 8-1-1, outscoring opponents 17-4 on the year. So this is the strength of a very good home team against a very strong road team. So many storylines in this one. Haven't seen that breakthrough yet. NC State coming close on that King opportunity just a moment ago. And a good switch here. A vital tackle by Jenny McGowan, able to save that. It seemed like NC State had the numbers. Something big might have happened had McGowan not stepped in.
Right. Good defensive pressure on her part. I'm ready to battle back after she lost the ball.
Long ball knocked forward, intended for Cox. And in the end, it'll be a corner kick. Rachel Hurd couldn't quite control it. And again, you said set pieces are going to be very important. With it being wet, NC State, this will be their 3rd corner kick. And perhaps we will see the match's opening goal come off of the set piece. Hannah Keogh has 6 assists on the year. Gutenberger from deep. They trust the freshman center back.
She scored, I guess, a couple times from that area of the field, so they gave her opportunity.
When you were at Florida, did they let you do that out of the back?
I don't remember. Which means probably no.
Thinking that's got to be fun if you're a defender. Obviously, you don't get too many chances.
That means
they say,
they respect you.
We're going to draw this one up for you. We want you to give it a rip from, say, 25, 30 yards out.
Right.
With Bonner in, Schuster has moved up to more of a right midfielder position. Flores going forward. We'll take this throw in. Monica Flores. Saw her sister Sabrina come in earlier. The Flores sisters on the field together. Sabrina Flores dispossessed. And speaking of the trust of Gutenberger to be able to take that shot off of the corner, there's also trust in when you have a back line that is intact from last year and then a freshman comes in from Germany and she starts at center back. That's awfully tough, especially at that position, right, to start as a freshman?
Definitely. But I think her coming from Germany and having such great experience, she just came in and it was like, she had been here for a couple years already with the way that she plays, especially tactically.
Schuster could not keep it in. This could prove to be a very important final 7 minutes and change. If anyone can break through before halftime, would make a tremendous difference in this match. Both teams have had their chances so far. So both teams, to me, seem pretty patient. They seem comfortable with where the match is at this point.
Right, and they're patient and comfortable on the ball, and they're trying to work the ball around and find the good opportunities, not just kick it.
You coming further back than normal to help facilitate the passing around the back line. Hurd trying to spring the Irish attack. A little too far out in front of the winger. Dean, are you surprised by anything we've seen so far in this first half, or has this gone basically how you thought it would go to this point?
I expected it to be a pretty equal game with both teams looking to win and expand their season. I believe both teams obviously will make it to postseason play, but if they win this game, this is going to up their record and up their rankings in the NCAA tournament. So there's a lot on the line, so both teams are really looking to win this game and play on Friday night.
I've never been to Charleston. Everybody raves about it. I will make sure to go soon. Both of these teams want to make that. It's not just a vacation; it's a business trip.
Right.
But it's a good place to go for a business trip.
Yeah, it definitely is. I don't think I've ever been there to play soccer, but it's definitely a nice place to be, and I'm sure the weather will be pretty good this time of the year.
Throw in taken quickly by Flores. Still 4 minutes left in this first half. Still time for an opening goal. Jenny McGowan probing forward for the Irish, and she picks out a good pass. Flores into the box, back post, it's headed and saved. Sydney Wooten able to answer, but Notre Dame, they unlocked the Wolfpack defense right there.
All right, that was a big-time play by Notre Dame and great save by Wooten.
Sierra King outside the boot, trying to curl it around the Notre Dame defense. Didn't work out. NC State still moving with it. Bonner cuts through a couple defenders. How about the right back? Still on a run. Muscled up by Fisher. And that was broken up before she could find King.
Nice.
These teams are so talented on both sides. You can see they have ladies that can attack all over the field.
Right. You have defenders that can attack from the back and make that run just like Bonner did.
U moves it along nicely as NC State is trying to keep it in this half. It goes out. Sabrina Flores just lost control. But this does allow Notre Dame to push up a bit. Bonner covering well for NC State. Flores retreats back. Kept in by Flores, rolled right past Megan Dail. One minute to go. Dail keeps it in.
Good ball.
Dail. That's out for a goal kick. Is there time for one more attack? Probably not. Wooten not in a hurry. And that will do it for the first half. Did you think both teams fairly pleased with how they performed in the first 45?
Yeah, I think both teams had a run of play at some point, so I think it was pretty equal. But I think obviously they're going to be looking for more opportunities offensively.
In that second half, we saw chances from both sides. Good bet we're going to see a goal in the second.
I definitely think so. It's that last 10 minutes, you saw a big push on both sides, and both teams had really good opportunities. So I'm sure the coaches have some type of game plan to get more offensive shots from their forwards and from their midfielders.
All right. Well, that will do it for first half action. We expected a tight match. We've got it so far. Notre Dame and NC State scoreless at the break. We'll take a break, but don't go anywhere. We'll come back with highlights, stats, a look across the ACC, and a whole lot more during the halftime show. We'll be right back here on the ACC Network Extra. Welcome back during the halftime break. Alongside Dita Floyd, I'm Andrew Sanders. No score between Notre Dame and NC State. We've got my mic turned back on, so we've sorted that out. Now we're ready to look back at the scoreboard so I can ask Dina again. Scores around the ACC. Again, Duke 3-0 at the half over Boston College. They've been so dominant this season, obviously hosting in Durham. Chapel Hill, North Carolina 1-0. And then the only lower seed to be ahead right now, fifth-seeded Wake Forest. Duke, I know I asked you before the mic cut out there just how good they've been. Does anything stand out to you outside of that on this scoreboard?
I think most of the games are going to be close games just because of where they're sitting at and the opportunities that they have moving forward in the ACC and the NCAA tournament.
The winner of NC State and Notre Dame, it is important to note, will face the winner of North Carolina and Florida State. So that will be a key match to look for fans of the Fighting Irish and the Wolfpack. And then, of course, the Duke-Boston College winner will play the Wake Forest-Virginia winner. Again, those matches on November 3rd in Charleston, South Carolina. And then the ACC championship match on November 5th. We'll go to break once more. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, highlights and stats from Raleigh. ACC Championship quarterfinals, Notre Dame and NC State. We didn't see a goal in the first half, but it doesn't mean we don't have highlights for you here at the halftime break. Several good chances for both schools, no doubt. Notre Dame certainly got off to a nice start in the first 10 minutes, but it was NC State who had the best chance. Kia Rankin here.
Right. I think Notre Dame, even though they had more shots, NC State had the better opportunities on goal.
And really, it had been all Notre Dame to that point. Once Rankin was able to get in behind the defense, they seemed to have more confidence. Here's the best chance, I think, maybe for either side in the entire first half. Sierra King just over the crossbar.
Right, this was a great play by two players that came off the bench. And King just put it over, and something that she usually doesn't do. She's usually putting it right in the back of the net.
And Notre Dame, not without their chances, as Monica Flores crossed this in. Natalie Jacobs with a header on target and low in a good spot is saved by Wooten. Jacobs, I know, impressed you in that first half as she looked very dangerous.
Right, she was dangerous in the first half. That pass off of Westendorf and then right here, but Wooten made an awesome save.
Look at the halftime stats. As you noted, Dina, Notre Dame out shooting the Wolfpack 7-4. Everything pretty even. Only one shot on goal, technically, in that first half. NC State's best chances, they didn't hit the target. We are just a couple of minutes away from second half action, so we have to take our final break here. We'll be right back from Raleigh after these words. Back here in an overcast Raleigh, North Carolina, a light sprinkle falling as we look to begin the second half. Notre Dame and NC State meeting for the 7th time in their history on the women's soccer field, meeting for the second time this season. Notre Dame prevailed 4-0 in the first match in South Bend. We expected that they would not be as dominant today. It was a back and forth, a pretty evenly played first half. So now teams have gotten a little bit of break. They come back out here. I know I hate to talk about the weather too much because I know, like you said, these are D1 players. They've played in this before.
Right.
But it was just a soggy field in the first half. Now you have actual rain coming down. Is it the same deal, though? Just worried about the ball skipping and maybe the goalkeeper's handling?
Yeah, I think it's the same deal. It's just the unpredictable skipping of the ball or the vision or anything like that. But I think these players are ready to play, especially for this matchup that we're playing for tonight.
These two teams trying to book their trip to Charleston, South Carolina for the ACC semifinals held on November 3rd. Second half underway. NC State, an interesting note. You know, last year these two teams met in South Bend. Notre Dame, the ACC regular season champions. So they were the 1 seed hosting the 8th seeded NC State Wolfpack. Got a 1-0 victory. NC State back in the ACC championship. Their first back-to-back berths in this tournament since 2003-2004. Just speaking of building the program and what Tim Santoro has been able to do, they've made huge strides. I mean, it's always tough to go from the basement into the penthouse anyways. And I know NC State isn't quite in the penthouse just yet.
Right.
But it's difficult when you have been perennially one of the bottom teams or the bottom team in the league, but especially in a league with this much talent. It's just remarkable how they've been able to go from a team that isn't making the ACC tournament and is winless in ACC play to reeling off 5 last year, now 6 wins in the ACC.
Yeah, it says a lot about what Coach Santoro and his staff has been able to do over the last 5 years. And then, you know, the ACC has progressively even gotten better with the addition of Notre Dame and Louisville and Pitt. So hats off to that coaching staff and what they've been able to accomplish so far.
It makes that third-place finish for NC State all the more impressive when you speak of adding quality teams like this Notre Dame team. Notre Dame has 11 conference championships. However, in their very short time in the ACC, they have not been able to capture the ACC crown. That will certainly be on their minds this year. And also on their minds, their first-round exit from the NCAA tournament last season after being the regular season ACC champions. Certainly a disappointment to lose to SIUE, Southern Illinois, Edwardsville.
Yes, I don't think they were expecting that last year.
Not at home, especially.
Yes.
But every year is a new opportunity, and this Irish team is certainly good enough to make it a few rounds deep in the tournament. No doubt about that. Sandra Yu. That kissed off the crossbar, and the curl of the ball actually took it out for a goal kick. So now that the regular season is over, we're into the postseason now. As a player, how much different is it when you get into a postseason elimination type format?
It's definitely different because every game could be your last game. Obviously, for these two teams playing right now, this isn't going to be their last game. They're going to make it to the NCAA tournament, but moving forward, they don't have many games left, so they're looking to really put that in the back of their mindset and push forward with every game.
Did you feel the pressure as a player, and if not, how were you able to handle it?
I definitely think early on in my career I felt the pressure, but as you become a junior and senior, you try to take each game and just play it for what it is, and take each game one game at a time. But it just depends. Each game's different. Like if it's a championship game, there's more pressure than a first-round game, but you don't want to take any game lightly.
You and Bonner battling for it. Knocked out by Bonner. Cox trying to hold play up. She had a great pass in the first half. If you saw the halftime highlights. Found Zierra King right around the penalty spot. Maybe inside of it even. NC State did not score. Which team can capitalize on a scoring chance first? Hurd. Able to get it safely away, had Cox nipping at her heels. Notre Dame defending well. They get it out to midfield. This is over the head of Bach. Westendorf was ready. They're ready to pounce just in case Bach mishandled. fairly cool today, not uncomfortably cold, as this ball's misplayed over the head of Hurd. Cox cannot find Griffiths. Getting to that late October weather. It's actually fairly warm today, considering the humidity. Now I know you went to Florida. They're known for the swamp down there. It's hot. It's humid.
Swampy.
Did you welcome this time of year when things cooled off a little bit? It makes it a little easier to run 10, 12 miles.
Yeah, I definitely think you welcomed it. At the same time, you're so used to it that it didn't faze you either way. But I'm sure both teams are liking the weather, especially Notre Dame, where it's seasonally cold at this time of the year.
Yeah, these two teams played on the football field yesterday. The Irish securing a 35-14 win. A top 15 matchup, huge game. It was under 40 yesterday in South Bend. It was windy.
Thank you.
The wind chill. They said it felt like 32 or just below. That's my response to it.
So they're happy to be here. Notre Dame would have been playing in this. Even though they're playing on the road, the weather's a little bit better for them.
Yeah, long sleeves and gloves would be part of my my get-up, my uniform.
Right.
I think you said it best. No thanks.
No thanks.
I'm not ready for winter just yet. Good pass over the top. Wooten is out. The offside flag was up anyways. And Sammy Fisher had too much of a head start behind the NC State D.
Yeah, good pass by Westendorf, but like you said, it was a little bit offsides.
Wooten directing traffic. Sends it long. Well, I thought we might see the action pick up pretty quickly here in this second half. So far, 10 minutes in, neither team has really been able to muster much offensively. Bonner is taken down. That will draw a whistle. Good ball to King. Couldn't take it down completely cleanly. That allowed Shannon Hendricks to close the ground. This is Paige Griffiths to Rankin. King. Cox slipped on the wet turf.
I think that some of the fans were looking for a foul, but she definitely slipped there.
Cox and King combining well. I mean, obviously they haven't been able to finish in a scoreless match, but first it was Cox to King, and now the opposite. Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, Hurd was there. Obviously, there's going to be some kind of contact, but didn't seem to warrant a foul. Here is Hurd. Bonner
Great
looking
ball.
for Cox. Saved. Oh, the parry from Nicholas. Notre Dame, I was going to say not completely out of danger, but the ball went past King.
Once again, Bonner to Cox, a nice ball in. And Cox this time was able to put that ball on the net, and great save by the goalkeeper.
Good technique. And for NC State, again, they didn't hit the target. They didn't have a shot on goal in the first half. So for Cox to force Nicholas into his save is solid. But again, the senior is plenty good enough. We have an update from Chapel Hill. North Carolina has taken a 2-0 lead on a penalty kick. So at home, up 2-0. Again, the winner of that match will play the winner of this one here in Raleigh. North Carolina beat Notre Dame in the semifinals last year. Jacobs rises up, and it's wide of the post. It sent Wooten sprawling, though it had her a little worried.
Jacobs does a good job of getting her head on the ball. Just like she did the first half, she was able to get a header on this one and cause Wooten some issues there.
So if that score holds up, North Carolina, as the 2 seed, would host either NC State or Notre Dame. Again, Notre Dame, as this will be a handball. As that ball popped up on King, looked like it caught her in the elbow. Notre Dame coming off a draw against Carolina in Chapel Hill, where they felt as if they should have been able to get 3 points. Gave up a corner kick goal with 16 seconds remaining. Good turn here. And the shot blocked. Sammy Fisher looking dangerous. And so Notre Dame will feel confident they played well enough to win just on Thursday. If they indeed go to Chapel Hill, they'll look for revenge for that semifinal loss last year. Or pardon me, not go to Chapel Hill. Charleston, South Carolina. NC State beat North Carolina last year as Wooten is out with a punch. Flores. We'll try again. Left-footed volley!
Wow.
In the back of the net.
That was a big-time hit. Big-time hit.
What a strike from Sabrina Flores with the left foot, and Notre Dame has the opening goal.
That was textbook right there with that volley. Not sure if she's left-footed, but wow, what a shot.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, the first one was a good shot.
Right.
That is her first goal of the season. Has a couple of assists, so there's points 3 and 4.
And she came in. She didn't even start the first half, so that's big time for her.
61st minute. And so for a match that was already pretty good, sometimes a goal can jumpstart it even more. It is Flores with a quality goal for Notre Dame. So again, the Irish have been NC State's nemesis. 5 straight wins for Notre Dame, 4-0 in South Bend earlier this year. Gutenberger whistled for a foul. Our head referee today, Michael McBride. Ball sent in, and headed out by the Wolfpack. As you saw in that game break, Florida State scoring in Chapel Hill. Remember, Notre Dame beat Florida State just over a week ago. How does that goal change the game first for NC State?
Obviously, you're going to have to push even more from a tie to being down a goal. And then on the other side of things, Notre Dame's going to have a lot more confidence on the ball now. But, 1-0 is not a reach, so they're still in it for sure, NC State.
Offside flag is up. We have another update for you. This time, not from Chapel Hill, but instead from Charlottesville. UVA scoring against the Demon Deacons to even it up at home. Again, Duke was up 3-0 at halftime. We would expect Duke to be able to protect that 3-0 lead. No one's beaten them in the ACC this year. So Virginia making their case to go to Charleston now. Maxine Blackwood isn't going to get to the spot first. Hurd just knocked it away. Little contact here after the initial whistle. And so Michael McBride will try and be proactive here. Talk to the players before tempers flare and anything gets too out of hand.
That's definitely a good thing.
Kia with the long ball towards the top of the box. Headed out. And Bonner dribbles it out of play. So you and I were discussing in the first half how both of these teams seemed patient. Now after that goal, at what point does NC State start to feel, not panic, but a sense of urgency?
I think still now they should still be calm on the ball.
Okay.
But obviously, seize their opportunities. I don't think until the last 10 minutes of the game is when you start to say, oh, my gosh, we got to pick up. We got to definitely maybe push numbers forward, try a different formation. But right now they still should remain calm.
Stick to the game plan, stick to the tactics.
Correct.
King looking to turn. Walkling able to go around the goal scorer, Sabrina Flores. And she has Paige Griffiths open, chest it down. Looking for reinforcements, some help in white shirts. King. It slips in from an impossible angle. Sierra King with her 12th goal, and NC State has drawn level.
King once again on the ball, works her magic. She's able to beat that defender. Goalie was semi-ready, but it went behind her. That's where the field conditions can kind of take play.
I was going to ask you, that has to factor in. You were talking about the way that the ball skips, the way that it's going to be slippery, and wow. Notre Dame, who had just taken the lead 5 minutes ago by Sabrina Flores, her first goal of the year. King, again, came into today's second in the ACC with 11 goals, now make it 12. And that's 20 career goals for this sophomore already.
She's having an outstanding season thus far.
That also, by the way, puts King at 30 points this season. So we have ourselves a brand new match now. This is Maxine Blackwood. A little too far out in front of King. And we'll get another look at the goal from number 2. They call her Z. And yeah, I think you're right. Weather conditions making all the difference there. I mean, that's one that Lexi Nicholas will want back.
Yeah. She's probably seen that ball multiple times where she saved it, but
yeah, on a dry day, she probably makes that save not even 99 out of 100. Give me 199 out of 200.
Right.
Nicholas comes out bravely and makes the right play. Again, Notre Dame so good on the road. I wouldn't expect that goal, an unlikely goal to be scored. Sometimes that can get in the head of the team. I wouldn't expect it to happen to these road warriors. Again, 5 road wins for Notre Dame. Big reason why there's 12 seniors on this team.
Right.
They're veteran.
Correct. And Notre Dame has been challenged this year. They've been up, and then they've conceded goals, or they've had to come back and win in overtime. So their experience is going to be tested here.
Natalie Jacobs. She tests Wooten. Remember just a few minutes ago I said, hey, neither team has been able to muster anything offensively in the first 10 minutes?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because it completely changed.
Yes, I was trying to jinx it.
Yeah, exactly. You did a good job.
And sometimes it works. I wish I had those kind of powers. You know, sometimes people think that there's the broadcaster's jinx. I wish. I really wish. But I don't have the ability to change the game, change the match. But yeah, since then, things have certainly heated up here in Raleigh. How about the extended weekend that Sierra King is having? She scored both goals against Louisville on Thursday.
Yeah, she's having a great weekend, but even a better year.
Sierra King said, "What's a sophomore slump?" I don't know anything about that. After a breakout freshman season, even better in her second year. Again, looking for Cox. McGowan cleared it away.
Yeah, you say sophomore slump, and you often see players, they have a breakout freshman year, and then people know who they are, and they can mark them better, and then maybe not have such a great year, but it just seems like people can't stop her.
And it makes sense, I feel like, for some players. Obviously, there's things you can pick up when teams maybe see a weakness.
Right.
You know, there's things you can do scouting. But when you scout Sierra King and you say, okay, well, she's faster than everyone else on the field, well...
And she's technically sound and skilled, and her shot is amazing, and she's a great passer, too. So...
Yeah, when
you stop one thing, she might break out another thing out of her pocket.
You can scout that. It doesn't help you make any adjustments, really.
Correct.
I mean, she can go right or left. She's comfortable with either foot. That makes a big difference. You can't just sit on her, going one way or the other, just as an example of maybe one way that adjustments could be made.
Versatile would be my description for her among many.
She gives it up here to Griffiths. And you close down hard. Sammy Fisher probing forward. Too heavy a pass. Sandra Yu stepping in. Still moving. And the cross. Headed out by Schuster. Boy, I like the way Yu plays. She's shown in her tackling, her challenge, that slide tackle to be able to get the ball back for Notre Dame, and then her aggressiveness moving forward. She is a fun player to watch.
Right, she's definitely playing like she has experience and that she wants to move forward after this game into the ACC tournament, being that it's her last year.
This is anyone's match. 18 and a half remaining. Potentially more. We'll see. Both teams attacking well. This is Rachel Cox with a chance. Cox scores!
Nice. Great score. Cox has played really well this whole game and had an opportunity on goal earlier. But this time she put it in the back of the net. Well done.
Rachel Cox, the redshirt senior from Greensboro, North Carolina, scores her fourth goal of the season. And NC State, just like that, goes from 1-0 down to 2-1 ahead. What a turn of events here. And after the goal, Tim Santoro with the change. Taylor Porter comes in for Paige Griffiths. Both NC State goals coming in the span of just 7 minutes and 12 minutes after Notre Dame took the lead. Now the Wolfpack finds itself ahead. Rain coming down a little harder now. Is today the day that NC State is finally able to beat Notre Dame?
We'll see. I definitely think they're doing really well right now, but as we all know, Notre Dame is not going to let down.
Absolutely not. Still plenty of time left. Again, this match is really opened up here. It took quality from Sabrina Flores to beat Sydney Wooten with a left-footed volley back in the 61st minute. It'll take quality again, probably. Notre Dame has plenty of quality. This is Kia Rankin. And I got caught up in the feet of Shannon Hendricks. I don't even think she was looking back at the ball there. But it came right to her. A win for NC State would be its first ever in school history in the ACC championship. And would mean a trip to the semifinals in Charleston, South Carolina. Heavier precipitation now, really coming down. So earlier I asked you, Dina, about when is it the time to have more of a sense of urgency. You said about 10 minutes if you're trailing. Does the same go for the defensive team? Is 10 minutes about the time you start thinking, okay, we're going to start locking it down?
I think so. I think honestly, right now, they're going to probably think about locking it down. I mean, still play, but be smart. You know, maybe not making as many runs out of the back if you're State. Not packing it in, but just being more conservative in the back line.
Wednesday, November 1st, NC State and Virginia Tech on the men's side of the ACC Championship. First round action. You can tune in right here on the ACC Network Extra at 7 o'clock. Again, Wednesday, November 1st. That is the 8-9 matchup on the men's side. NC State trying to mount yet another attack. Sierra King, who scored the first goal, dances around several Irish defenders. Gets a return pass from Keogh and earns a corner kick. King, just outside the 6. Takes the shot. Her second goal.
Wow.
A brace for Sierra King. And might that be enough for NC State? 3-1, the Wolfpack with a flurry of goals in the second half.
She is just so talented on the ball and so composed. You don't see many players dance with inside the box and wait until the right opportunity to shoot it on goal. Well done.
She has 4 goals since Thursday. Goal number 13 in the 76th minute. Okay, so now that urgency question for Notre Dame. Down 2 goals. It's now, right?
Yeah, I think, when you're down 2 goals, it has to happen now, right? Because you got to get that 1 goal, and then you got to get that other one right afterwards. So Notre Dame might be making some switches in terms of formation and getting those attackers inside the box and pushing forward.
Teresa Romanolo's bunch finding themselves down 2 goals to a team they beat 4-0 in South Bend. Again, that was over a month ago. That game got away from NC State. They felt like, obviously, being the 3rd seed in the ACC, they didn't get beat, 4-0 quite often. They felt like they were better than that. You look at their schedule, that was the worst performance that they had all season. And they have been able today to bounce back after trailing. The goals have come in bunches. Hurd knocks it away from Rankin, but he goes out. Hannah Keogh trying to use her shirt to dry off the ball just a little bit. Rain coming down a little bit sideways here. And this tussle will result in a foul against number 8 in white, Kia Rankin. Notre Dame, again, they don't have any time to waste, moving quickly on the restart. Kia Rankin cutting back, and Hurd able to close down. Boy, for a second it looked like Rankin was all alone on the breakaway, but the Notre Dame defense with the speed to make up for it.
Yeah, way to come back on Hurd's part, because Rankin probably would have had a nice little shot on goal.
In the midfield, Quav under. Towards the outside. Sandra Yu cutting in past the ACC logo. Here is Westendorf, all the way across. Flores was the intended target. Would have been her second goal of the match. NC State defending well. Yu to Fisher. And at the top of the box, surrounded by white shirts, and now Rankin is onside. Another breakaway opportunity. Hurd trying to close the gap. Shoulder to shoulder. Rankin's shot is saved. Second chance goes wide.
Great opportunity. Great job by Rankin. Hurd, great job of coming back and making that challenging for her as well.
Again, Notre Dame has to commit so many numbers forward that Kia Rankin has been all alone a couple of times, and now King with it, shooting to the side, netting. What could have been a very costly turnover. NC State and Zira King nearly made it 4-1. 3-1 our score. And here's a look at all 4 goals of the match. The first one was beautiful from Sabrina Flores. And then Sierra King giving NC State the boost on a sloppy field. It skipped under the goalkeeper, Nicholas. Rachel Cox. And then the final goal from Sierra King. Has brought us to this 3-1 scoreline. What does Notre Dame have left in the tank offensively? We'll find out in the next 8 minutes and change. A second goal would make things very interesting down the stretch. Notre Dame with everybody up. Hurd overshoots the midfielders.
And you can see NC State has everyone back behind the ball. Everyone's defending at this point, knowing that Notre Dame needs to score.
Yeah, with only a 1-goal margin, you don't want to pack it in too early, right? But with 2 goals,
yeah,
makes
it's a
more
different
sense.
Outlook. Correct.
Low cross. Stifled. It's loose out in front, and Wooten slides out. Another look here, and there's so many white shirts. And then Sydney on the spot.
Sydney has had a really solid game. I mean, you have to say that one shot that Notre Dame had and they scored on.
She still almost saved it.
Yeah, she still almost saved it, and that's going to be very difficult to save for anybody.
Oh, what a move by King. Still moving by herself, putting on a show. Right foot, upper 90.
Wow. This girl is something else.
A goal of the highest quality by Sierra King. It's a hat trick, and hats off to number 2. 5 goals since Thursday.
She is on a roll. Again, such skill, able to separate herself from several defenders, and then an awesome strike on goal, upper 90. Doesn't get much better than that, you guys.
It's a SportsCenter top 10 nominee for Sierra King. 3 goals in the quarterfinals of the ACC Championship. All 3 coming in the second half. 14 goals on the season. And 22 goals for number 2 in just her second year in college. She's not done yet.
I think that's the most exciting part about her, is the fact that she's only a sophomore and we get to watch her for 2 more years.
So Notre Dame, who has been so good on the road this season, might have their ACC championship ended in the quarterfinals. Flores' shot is headed by a Wolfpack player. She finds some green grass, little space, far side. Left-footed cross sent towards the back post. And nobody home for Notre Dame. So it certainly seems like, as the clock ticks under 5 minutes, that NC State winless against the Irish the last 5 times they've met. They will be able to prevail, it appears. And what a flip of the script. 4-0 the score in South Bend earlier this season. A 4-1 here in Raleigh. NC State hosting its first ever ACC championship match here at the Dail Soccer Stadium. Haven't won in this championship since 1995. Westendorf's low shot controlled by Wooten. A team that has been so dominant at home, looking for their 9th home win of the year. They're unbeaten here in the last 8. Trying to book their trip to Charleston, South Carolina. Yu goes right around a defender. And that troubled Wooten, but in the end it was wide.
Couple good opportunities by Notre Dame. Wooten doing a great job of covering that goal, though.
I know we've seen some individual brilliance from Sierra King today. No doubt about that. At the time, before NC State scored, it was 10-5 shots in favor of the Irish. Now it's 12-12. How was NC State able to put so much pressure? Because I know King was brilliant, but it was an overall team effort.
I think after that first goal, NC State just saw confidence, or received confidence, I should say, and were able to do some things, and then obviously it opened up for them on the field. So I think that's mostly part of it. You know, once you get a goal, you're able to say, okay, I can get a couple more. it's a different game now.
This is Maxine Blackwood. Wolfpack moving it around with a purpose. Cox has a goal. King stepping aside the goalkeeper. Too tight the angle. Had me thinking, is there time for one more?
With her on the ball, there definitely is.
A hat trick for King. 34 points on the year now. And NC State looks to take this corner short here. Trying to keep it down as far away from their own goal as possible. And let the clock continue to tick. Under a minute to go. Sabrina Flores scored a beautiful goal for Notre Dame. It's not going to be enough here today. Under 30 seconds left. And again, not as big of a crowd as maybe there would have been if the weather had been a little better here, but those that are in attendance are making their presence known. And that'll do it. NC State with its first win in the ACC Championship since 1995. They have punched their ticket to Charleston, South Carolina to play the winner of the 2-7 match. We played on November 3rd for Notre Dame. They'll be disappointed to lose here today, Dina, but they still have a lot ahead of them as they look forward to the NCAA tournament. And here's a look at an updated bracket. North Carolina and NC State, a rivalry matchup in the 2-3 seed. Virginia, we'll see if they can hang on. And again, they're in the later stages of their match. So it looks like it's going to be Duke, Virginia, NC State, and North Carolina chalk so far. But, Dina, what can you say about this second half performance from NC State?
I mean, just amazing. The fact that they were able to come out and score 3 goals, right, or actually, I'm sorry, 4 goals is great on their part. And especially since they conceded that first goal.
Sierra King, the star of the day. A hat trick for her with goals in the 66th and the 76th and in the 80th as well. Well, it was an overcast, a rainy day here. Not optimal conditions, but NC State and Notre Dame provided a ton of excitement here in Raleigh. That'll do it for our broadcast. For my partner, Dina Floyd. Enjoyed it as always. Hope you all enjoyed it at home. NC State beats Notre Dame. The final score 4-1. This has been a presentation of ESPN.